Back at Sounds True, we produced a program with Helen, what's her name? Anyway, she had a great book on the Enneagram, In Love and Work. Welcome to, are we going, Sam? Yes?
I'll check it again on my own machine, but you're looking good.
Thank you. Welcome to Deconstructing Yourself. I'm Michael Taft. We're going to, is anyone new here? Raise your hand. Okay, Eric, stop it. We will do an hour-long guided meditation, which you are free to, ignore if you want. It's all just suggestions of stuff you might want to do. I'm going to have to start locking that door again. You can't. There is no lock. And then, so we'll sit for an hour, right? If you're not used to sitting on the floor cross-legged for an hour, it might be a little challenging. So you may wish to sit in a chair instead right now, instead of like halfway through, just your whole meditation becomes, you see people like, oh, God, this the whole time. And it's like, just sit in the chair next to it. It's so much easier. You won't go to yoga hell for sitting in a chair. You'll still be able to do your meditation and all that. In any case, at the end of an hour, I will give some kind of talk about some kind of topic, or not. And then after that, we'll bring around the microphone and see if you all have anything you'd like to share or talk about or maybe ask about or whatever. And then at the very, very end, we'll do a silent sit, where we sit silently in silence while sitting. So that's a nice one. Everything is out of place. Everything in its wrong place. Radiohead. Okay. So, any questions about what we're going to do or how we're going to do it? Okay, so let's begin, and we're going to begin with a little bit of movement. In terms of movement, your body is your body, my body is my body, so what feels good to me might not feel good to you, so, do your version of whatever I'm suggesting that we do. Make it work for you. But the first two are always really, really, really individual anyway. So again, based on my friend Laura Ward's embodiment teaching that I've been doing a lot, and we've been doing it at our retreats, and I think it's very powerful and helpful. What's the most useful thing you can possibly do for your body over time? What is it, Angelina? What is it? Get up and down off the floor. So let's get up and down off the floor a bunch of times, any way you want. There's no correct way to do this, except, or even incorrect way. Just get on the floor and then get back up. And then get down on the floor in some other way, and then get back up in some other way. And just do that a lot. As someone who has a little tiny human at home, I do this 1,000 times a day anyway, and you know what? It's actually really good for you. So getting up and down off the floor. Then we're going to mix this with the second thing, which is rolling around on the floor. So when you get down on the floor, then roll around any way you want. The idea is to kind of squish your fascia around. So squish your fascia in whatever way feels good. Make it goofy, make it fun, make it ridiculous, however you want to. And then, you get up and down, right? Part of it's getting up and down off the floor and then going back down and rolling around. Okay, so that's what we're doing. All right. Excuse me. So let's bring that back in. Excuse me, Laura. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Bring it. Whoa! We'll bring it back in. See that recovery? Yep. Getting up and down off the floor any way you want. Okay. That would have been so awesome if I face planted. I can just imagine. Okay, so what we're going to do next is what we always do. Start by breathing in, up, and open your rib cage, open it, open it, open it. Get some space in there, get some room in there, and then just breathe. Remember, your lungs are just like Ziploc bags. They're not doing anything. This is all your ribs and the muscles of your diaphragm and interstitial muscles and stuff. So let that rib cage really expand and contract. And then go over to one side, getting some real stretch on that side. Space, space, space. Lots of room in your rib cage. If we get room in our bodies, we can get room in our minds. And then coming up, go the other way. Listen to your body crack and crinkle and sound like a rain stick. And then come back up. Breathe for a minute. And then all the way down in front and open up space in the back. This is Stegosaurus pose. Stegosaurasana in Sanskrit. Bring it out up. And do a twist. And then a twist the other way. If your spine snaps, let me know. Try to avoid that. And then bring it back to center. Then we're going to freak out, so go ahead and freak out any way you want, any movement you want. Move, 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 move. Make sounds. Barf, whatever you need, just let it all out. And then breathing in, big breath, big breath, big breath. We're going to do Simhasana, so hands on your knees, ready. Boy, some of those were some pretty lame Simhasanas, so I want some serious vigor in this. Serious energy, serious intensity. That was pretty good. Okay, woo. Those simhas are terrifying. Okay. Then last but not least, we will do our my patented spinal wiggle. So your spine is a young bamboo sapling on a mountaintop on a rainy, slightly windy afternoon, right? It's just all supple, it's all fresh. Feels really pleasant to move, really easy, really open, really relaxed. It's not a dry old stick that breaks every time you move it. It's really bendy, bendy, bendy. And then as usual, what I want you to do is just kind of reduce the length of the arcs, the size of the circles, smaller and smaller, until you just can't really tell if it's moving or not. We're never coming to some kind of fixated, stuck place, right? We want it to remain smooth and relaxed and supple and open in what passes for more or less stillness. And notice how different that feels than kind of like locking yourself in place to meditate. There's a certain deep, deep relaxation in all the small muscles along the spine in this way. They're not all tight. They're relaxed, and you can really feel the difference. And just tune into your body. Good. Now let's work a little bit with the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum in the way that we always do. If you're not used to doing this, just hear how we're doing it and follow along. Take a breath at whatever point you want, just as long as we're not all taking a breath at the same time. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Hum, Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Hum, Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Very good. Now just soak in the feeling, the vibe, the energy of that chant for a few moments, the chant of universal compassion. Very good. Now we'll do a little bit of breath work. This breath work is very much, an individual thing. So do as much or as little as you want to or don't want to. But let's begin with actually a good amount of Bhastrika breath, right? So if you know how to do that, just go ahead and do what you normally do at your own pace. Bhastrika is like this. I'll do the very slow version first as a demo. That's slow and easy for the geriatric like me among us. If you want to do medium, it's like that. Notice it's very even. There's no stress, there's no strain. My shoulders aren't doing this, right? It's just, I could do that for a long, long time. Okay, that's medium. Really fast, if you're up for it, is again, if you're doing it correctly, you could just do it forever. Right? It's very, very easy. So I'll keep demoing at the medium level. Okay. Then just sit with that for a minute. And then so that raises the energy. Now we'll regulate it. So let's do some alternate nostril breathing. If you know how to do that, just go ahead and do it. If you don't know how to do it, we're going to regulate our nostrils with our fingers. So I'm going to make your hand like that. You're going to close the right nostril with your right thumb. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close that left nostril. Alternate to the right. Breathe out the right. Breathe in the right. Close that, alternate, breathe out the left. That's why it's called alternate nostril breathing, folks. And just keep doing it. Make sure you're sitting up nice and straight. Keep going. As you're doing this, if you want to, you can focus on your third eye center and time the breathing using Om Mani Padme Hum or whatever else you want. This is helping to tonify or regulate or soothe the energy we raised. Now we make it clear and smooth and bright. So we began on a left nostril inhale, so keep going until you can end on a left nostril exhale. And then just set your thinking mind aside. You don't need it anymore for any reason. And just sit like the sky. Sit in openness, unengaged with any thought of any kind, and simply resting in wide awake, wide open presence. Right? Simple, natural presence that's there when you're not all lost in thinking. So let's do this together. If that's too unstructured, it's okay to kind of like feel the rhythm of the breathing. You're not really focusing on breathing, but you're sitting in openness and awakeness and just noticing the breath. Okay? So let's do that together. Each time you find yourself caught up in thinking, just let it go. We're not trying to stop our thinking or change our thinking or control our thinking or do anything to our thinking. We're just ignoring it. We're leaving it be. And meanwhile, all our awareness, all our presence, all our attention is right here. Anytime you find yourself just sitting there thinking, just drop that very gently, very, very gently, and come back to presence. Presence is extremely easy. It's not a technique, it's just not being lost in thought. There's no further technique. You're just not lost in thought. Okay, very good. Now, just notice the wide open sky of awareness itself. Notice the fact of awareness. It's not something you can look at, but it's something you can be aware of. The fact of being awake, the fact of being aware. The lights are on in the room of the mind. And just notice that that's unobstructed, unconstructed, unimpeded, natural, wide openness. Without doing anything at all, it's just completely open and awake. And from there, let's do some Tonglen practice. We'll start out doing quite an easy version, which is simply imagining that, think of one friend or one loved one or one person or animal whose suffering you would like to help relieve. And then breathe in that suffering on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, breathe out and give to them peace and love and kindness and relief. So you're actually breathing in their suffering, taking in the pain, taking in the sorrow, taking in the difficulty, taking in all the bad stuff, and then giving to them on the out-breath peace, love, kindness, joy, relief. Now this works because our nature as wide open, unimpeded, vast, sky-like awareness isn't like some kind of car engine filter or something. It doesn't get dirty. You can take in an infinite amount of this and have it not be a problem. So don't hold back. Think about your friends suffering, your loved ones suffering, your parents suffering, your child suffering, but just pick one for the moment. And don't hold back. Take it all on. Each in-breath you take it in. Each out-breath you give to them joy, peace, kindness, love, compassion, all of it. So let's do that together for a few minutes here. And then we'll do a harder version. It's okay to use your imagination a bit for this. Taking on all the suffering and giving away all the relief, all the compassion, all the kindness, all the joy. to stay awake. If you're having trouble staying awake, sit up straight, straight, straight. And you might want to open your eyes. You can do these meditations perfectly well with your eyes open, and it will help you stay awake. But it's not nap time. Very good. Now let's switch to doing exactly the same thing, but for a different person or being, friend, animal, whoever. Just choose a different person to give Tonglen to. Tonglen means giving and receiving, right? So you're receiving all their difficulties, sorrow, pain, suffering, sadness, rage, all of it, taking it in. And then giving back to them all the peace, all the serenity, all the equanimity, all the joy, all the health, all the love, all the openness, all the relief. Don't hold back. Your fundamental nature has no limits. Don't hold back. There can be a way that you feel yourself kind of, I'm doing it, but I'm also keeping a part of me back here out of it, right? Kind of like not, I don't want that part to get dirty or whatever. It's like, no, don't hold back. Remember to keep yourself in a place of tremendous openness, sky-like presence, where the vastness of experience makes it possible to both take on any amount of difficulty and give back an infinite amount of love and kindness and never be empty in that sense. Good. So let's try a little more difficult version, a little more challenging version. If it's too challenging, feel free to back up and do the easier version. You're welcome to pick a new person or being to do Tonglen with, or stay with the same one. But we're going to do a little more advanced visualization. This is a visualization. You are using your mental imagery capacity if you have it. If you don't, then just do it as a feeling, do it as a flavor instead of a picture. But even if you're doing it as a picture, you should also feel the flavor of it. And that is, we're doing the same thing. We're taking all the sorrow, all the pain, all the difficulty, all the tragedy, all the problems, all the illness, all the everything of the person. But when we're doing that now, I want you to picture it as a kind of thick black smoke that you're breathing in. Like almost like tarry, heavy black smoke. And then on the out breath where you're giving them love, kindness, gentleness, caring, sweetness, compassion, love, health, serenity, peace, etc. That's a kind of white light that you're giving to them. So breathing in this very heavy, almost like a oil fire black smoke, and then breathing out this tremendously healing, loving, sweet, white light. If that starts to get to be too hard, then just back off a little bit and just do the non-visualization version. Remember that in the original languages, visualization doesn't mean just a mental picture. It means the feeling of it, the attitude of it. So you can do it even if you don't have pictures in your head. And again, in a very gentle, very easy, very sweet way, just encourage yourself to not hold back. Just really let go of any sense of guarding or shutting off or turning away, and instead open to it entirely. let's make it a little harder. And do it for a group of people. Let's say your whole family, whatever that means to you. Maybe it's parents and siblings and children and cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff. Do it for them. Or if it's more of a chosen family, your friends and the people around you, that works too. But you kind of do them all at once. Still doing the black smoke on the in-breath and the white light on the out-breath. Sometimes doing this kind of visualization, you can get sort of lost in the fantasy, sort of drift off from the practice. So remember to continue doing the Tonglen. Right? You're breathing in the difficulty, pain, sorrow, sadness, illness, all that. As black smoke, breathing out peace, love, kindness, healing, safety, and so on as white light. Good. Now, let's switch to this room. So we are a community here, so breathe in for everyone in this room, and then breathe out for everyone in this room. And this is interesting because everyone's doing it for you too. So it's got a slightly different flavor, but just concentrate on breathing in all the difficulty and suffering of everyone in the room, and then filling everyone in the room with peace, love, joy, kindness, healing, practice. This is not an easy practice, right? This takes a lot of concentration and openness, especially to keep doing it over a long period of time. Good. Now we'll open it up quite a bit larger for every being in the whole world. There's a severe amount of pain, suffering, death, war, starvation, disease, poverty, hell going on out there. Not just for people, but for all kinds of beings. So breathe in an entire world of that. And then breathe out enough light, love, peace, kindness, joy, health, belonging, stability, safety to fill up the world. Okay, good. Now let go of that practice and just open up again to just sky-like, vast, primordially pristine awakeness. And if there's any sense at all that any of the stuff we were breathing in stuck to you in any way, it just vanishes entirely, absolutely, instantly, and totally vaporized without any remainder in this pristine openness. rest there for a little while, just in presence, outside of any engagement with thought, just simply, naturally, easily awake, open, present. Very good. Now, let's invoke the presence of Avalokiteshvara again, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Happens to be very good at Tonglen and also at supporting kindness practice like this. The seed syllable of Avalokiteshvara is Ri, but the mantra of Avalokiteshvara is Om Mani Padme Hum. So let's do that some more. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Hum, Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Hum, Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. Padme Hum, Om Mani 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 Padme Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay. Let's end that there. Yeah, it would actually be nice to just sit for about a half an hour right there, but I promised we'd talk a bit, so let's talk a bit. Tonglen practice is kind of the ultimate anti-selfishness practice. You know, instead of the usual, what's in it for me, what can I have for me, I want it for me, I want to get more and get more and get rid of all my difficulty and all my problems, and this is just exactly the opposite. It's like just flip it on its head. What if I just, on purpose, take on all the problems and give away all the peace and all the love and all the support and all that, just give it all away. And so on the most basic level, it's just that simple. What if I were super unselfish? And it really builds that kind of mood. But it goes a lot deeper than that, of course. It starts to, our selfishness is based on the idea that we are separate entities in a really hard way, right? That it's a zero-sum game, that my boundaries are very real, and that things can only be, anything I get is taken from others, anything I give is taken from me. It's very, very dualistic, very kind of hard-edged like that. And of course, this opens us up to something quite different, which is that actually we aren't separate from others, that actually we aren't somehow stuck in this zero-sum world, and in fact we're all in it together, and that anyone who's suffering around us is in fact just as important, just as precious, just as near to us as whoever we think we are. Right? And so this practice takes a while to get into the mood of, you have to kind of do it for a long time, because we basically spend a tremendous amount of time practicing selfishness, right? We practice selfishness 100% of the time for most of our lives, at least often. And so this is a very deep practice of not only flipping the selfishness on its head, but beginning to dissolve that sense of boundary, beginning to dissolve the sense of separation, beginning to open up to the fact that we're all in it together. And of course, it is absolutely predicated upon the understanding of our own awakeness, right, which is boundless and infinitely and primordially pure. It can never be sullied, right? So no amount of taking on the suffering can ever somehow make your nature, your basic nature, your primordial nature, dirty in any way. It never gets covered with soot. And in the same way, there's no limit to how much love, how much joy, how much kindness can come out of that basic nature. It never, the well never runs dry. So it's really important at the very beginning of the practice, we just did it for a minute, but to just do it right now, just drop into non-conceptual openness, the sense of that wide open, vast space of presence and awakeness that is always there. Everything else is downstream of that. All the ideas, everything comes out of that. But at the basis is just this awakeness that is uncontrived and uncompounded and unborn and just primordially, perfectly pure. We do that at the beginning, do it right now, and then at the very end we come back to that. Right? Just coming back to that sense of awakeness and openness that is always there, that has always been there. And that is very important to do at the beginning and the end. And to sort of like set the proper view for doing the practice, but also to kind of make sure we clean the slate at the end of any concept of having taken on any material or whatever. So the practice in the end not only helps to remove our selfishness and kind of dissolve that sense of being separate from others. Somehow I'm in it for me, right? It just removes that sense of boundary, but also on a deep level brings us back again and again to the view, right? Brings us back again and again to our own primordial, open nature. So it's a powerful practice. And one that was famously almost lost way back when, like in the 1200s, almost disappeared and then was kind of at the last moment kind of rescued and brought back and reintroduced, and where it took off, especially in Tibet. So that's Tonglen. It's of course a major practice for Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. It's a compassion practice, right? And so that's why we were doing the mantra of the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara. That name in Sanskrit means something like hearing the cries, right? Hearing the cries of distress and sorrow. And the name of the same being in Tibetan is Chenrezi, which just means great compassion, right? Big compassion. So we brought in the big guns at the beginning and the end of sort of the archetype or the celestial entity or the image or whatever you want to call it of compassion itself and wisdom and power and love. Okay, so that's Tonglen. Tonglen can be tremendously beautiful practice. Some people, that's their entire practice. That's their meditation always. You may have noticed if you are really kind of going at it, it can be quite an absorption practice. I mean, it can be quite powerful as a meditation. It's, samadhi type practice, but it also weirdly, it's little by little, it works on something inside you, some really deep internal constrictedness and tightness, and that it just, little by little, it dissolves that. Little by little, it opens it up. Little by little, it and just lets that relax. There's a famous study where it's really quite fucked up and sad, where they showed people, there's a special area of your brain that responds when you see a human being, especially a face. It's one particular area of your brain that lights up. That's a human, and we're wired for other people. And they did a study where they showed people, coffee cups and toasters and stuff, and then every once in a while they'd throw a person in there, and they really, clarified there's the spot of the brain that lights up when you see a person. But then when they would show them pictures of unhoused people, it would be like they saw a coffee cup. They were not seen as humans. They were objects. And so that's what our contracted, selfish, tight brain does. You don't even know you're doing it. You've just learned to ignore that level of suffering and ignore that level of pain in your environment. Like, don't want to see that. That's a coffee cup. That's, might as well be a log or something. And so, that's the fundamental kind of thing we're working against. You don't, that's not good to dehumanize other individuals or sentientize other individuals. So this practice is reversing that, right? It's opening that up, reminding us of our connection to, our oneness with, our compassion for, our love for, our shared humanity or entityness with all life. So it's important to practice. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that. If you have comments or reports or questions or just want to say something, Faiza here has a microphone, and you can raise your hand and she will bring it to you. As usual, the caveats are that this is going out live to the internet, so anything you say into that microphone will be out there in the world forever. So that's caveat one. Caveat two, be mindful of your speech.
Thank you. You didn't mention the heart at all, and I was just curious about that.
What do you want me to say about the heart?
I have expected there to be some invocation of the heart, but I was just curious.
Sure. We can do that. There's no reason not to, but it's also not necessary. Part of it is, again, in the original cultures, the heart doesn't mean what the heart means to us. The heart is usually the heart mind, right? That's where it's not just your emotional center, it's your thinking center also. And so it's, and of course, even in Western culture and up until like medieval times, we also thought our thinking occurred in our chest. So it's just a fantasy that to us that we somehow feel our thinking in our heads, because it's just as easy to feel it in your heart or whatever. So, in Buddhist religion and Hindu religion and Asian and South Asian stuff, in general, when we say the heart, we mean the heart-mind. It's a bigger concept, right? So we can work with that, but notice it's not, our love, our kindness, our compassion, we can just talk about it in whatever way. It doesn't have to be in that metaphor. So sometimes we'll do this as a kind of a different sort of visualization where we do have like a radiant sun shining out from our heart, and then the suffering and sorrow and difficulty and problems come in and are burned away in the fire of this radiant sun of the heart, and then all the light comes out. We can do it that way. Tonight I didn't. Yep. Other stuff. We got one over here.
Hello. What is compassion and what is universal compassion?
It's not a hard question. Compassion is just the desire to relieve suffering. Right? If you see someone who is having a hard time, you want to help them. Right? That's it. It is different than something like empathy, where if they're sad, you feel sad. That's actually good, of course, but it's also a little debilitating if someone's in terrible emotional pain. Now you're in terrible emotional pain too. It doesn't really help necessarily, whereas what we want is if you see someone in terrible emotional pain, you want to help them, right? So it's a very active term where it's about doing stuff. So that's compassion. And universal compassion is simply the ultimate version of that. If we take it even further, we would say that it's kind of a funny way of talking, but it does make sense, especially as your experience deepens. You can start to see that the openness or emptiness or unfixatedness or non-conceptual aspect of everything is always never separate from its compassion aspect. They always come together. They're never separate. There's not some separate awakening that's all neutral and kind of cold and doesn't care. Right? As soon as we start really noticing the openness, really noticing the unfixatedness of experience, the compassion, the love, the kindness is right there. Okay?
Could I also ask, I feel like I'm a person that focuses on practicing compassion but struggles to receive compassion from others. Do you have any words on that?
Just do Tonglen for yourself, and eventually you'll learn.
Thank you.
You're a person too, right? So if you can do Tonglen for others, you can do Tonglen for yourself.
Hello.
You don't get,
Yeah.
you weren't in here.
I did the meditation in the other room because I needed to do some walking. I wondered if you would say that or not. But that whole time felt like it happened within maybe 20 minutes or 15 minutes. It went extremely fast, but it didn't feel fast at the time. Maybe it was the absorption.
As I
have
said,
a
it is a
question. I
good
don't know.
absorption practice.
Oh, yeah, I guess I just have report / what do you make of that? Is
Right.
that common?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is common. It doesn't know, sometimes it seems like it takes 10 years, right? It can be really a struggle. But when you get into the groove of it, especially doing it in a big group of people makes it, I think, a lot easier. It can start to really do the thing. So yeah, thanks for that report.
Cool, thank you.
What else is going on out there? Doesn't have to be questions, reports, anything bubbling up that you want to share with the group.
Yeah, so,
Did I notice you sobbing there at certain points?
yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah. I think, the, exiting, or, the, breathing out light part felt, more stable and like I knew how to do it. And the breathing in black smoke part felt more confusing and kept shifting for
Mhm.
me.
Shifting in what way? Like different pictures in your head or different, like you...
Lots of different types of suffering, different pictures in my head.
Yeah, that works. That's not wrong, right? It can be all, you're bringing in all sorts of different aspects. Did you notice, or maybe not, that can still be a kind of stability? Like, for example, the stability of taking in the suffering, even if it's a flood of different sorts of images.
I think I noticed this a little bit. In retrospect, I noticed it more. And I also sometimes was confused and frustrated that it wasn't all the same. And so this hurt my stability.
Yeah, so let it be okay that it's not all the same. It's not like you're just trying to have one image, right? It can be a whole bunch of stuff, but the structure part is that you're breathing it in, breathing out the love, breathing it in, breathing out. That gives it the structure part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Everybody done?
It's not a question. I just want to share a report.
Can you speak up, please?
It's not a question, but I want to share just a report.
Okay.
As we're doing the exercise and you're turning to breathe in everyone in this room, and also breathe out, and so at the same time, meaning I'm receiving the compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like a glimpse moment. My eyes closed, but I see light.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's very powerful when we're not only in the room doing it together, but doing it for everyone in the room. So quite a thing there. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Thanks for sharing. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Faiza. I think that's it. Now, as promised, we'll have a last little bumper of some silent meditation. About 75 minutes or so. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I think the one big announcement I have is since next Thursday is Thanksgiving, we won't sit next Thursday. We'll sit on Tuesday instead, so 2 days earlier. So if you want to come deconstruct yourself, just come on Tuesday. And the one weird thing is instead of 6:30, it's at 7, right? Because I'm teaching up till 7. So hopefully you guys will come out on Tuesday, and we'll do it on Tuesday night. Okay? Right here, this spot.
Can we come in person?
Yeah, so that I won't be teaching the RTS in person, but but there'll be a bunch of RTSers here. So if you were in the one room, yeah. I don't know how to do Zoom in also because it'll be out of sync. It'll be weird, but yeah. Okay, so and it will be the same thing for Christmas. So Christmas is on a Thursday. We won't be here on Christmas. But we'll be here too on the 23rd, on Tuesday. So, just so you know, we're moving the schedule a little bit around like that. Okay, other than that, feel free to hang out with other like-minded weirdos in the foyer, having some tea and snacks, and discussing strange shit. And also, it would be super appreciated if you help to put all these cushions back very neatly where they go against the wall there. Okay? Thank you.